Welcome back to Foundry Early Access. My name is Nilaus and we are back here with our glorious little factory. Well, it's not actually a little factory anymore. It's a pretty substantial factory and it continues to grow. So I have decided to stop streaming this on Twitch. So the only way you can get some Nilaus content of Foundry is here on YouTube. So express your interest if you want to see more of it. The reason why I've stopped on Twitch is, well, I think that'll be become evident in this episode because there is a lot of things that just are really easy to just wish away, but otherwise you could end up spending the entire stream on doing exactly not much. And what we're going to do today is a little bit related to what I am now mucking about with. I'll just take a random research and get that started. So let's talk about what we want to do today. Well, we have unlocked this science last time and we've unlocked a lot of tech. So we got into the thermalite smelting. That's good, but the tricky thing is that this is actually not what we want to do. We can do this thermalite smelting and I've also set it up, but it's not actually useful for anything at this point. So I'm gonna park that and we're gonna focus on something else. What we're gonna focus on is telosite veins, and also this one, ore veins. Interesting. And then underground mining. Very interesting, in order to make CPU production, because that's where we want to get. So you can see there's a new process here for telosite, and that's the one we're going to do. We're going to start by getting some telosite, and by clickety-click here, we can then look at our map, and you can now see there are different icons here. This is the one we're going to look for. This telosite is a different shape, size, location, and we're going to dive into that. So this is going to be our focus, building a factory for the telosite today. But since we also have other things that I've done and we've unlocked in Tech Tree, then I want to go through it because now this is your chance. By the way, if you are a Patreon supporter, or if you want to support on Patreon, then you can also always download the save game, so you can build your own factory, you can go through the designs, you can see how I've solved things in more detail, and I think that's a pretty neat little perk to Patreon supporters. Also, of course, thank you very much to anyone who's supporting on Patreon. This is a new build. I have replaced the old builds of belts. So now I'm doing belts in the middle, slopes, and splitters. That goes into the next level. Tier 2, belts, slopes, splitters. Tier 3, belts, slopes, splitters. And then I take anything that I upgrade and put it back here so that it gets recycled and comes in as new belts. So that's just it's a really neat little build. I compressed some of the other things so I could squeeze it in, and there is another thing as well that I've made out here, which we'll be using today. We're going to use an arc furnace as well, which is a new thing. But they are pretty big, and we don't need many of them, so we don't need to. Yeah, but what we're going to do is we're going to have a lot of crushers Mark II and advanced smelters. That's where we want to do for all of our smelting and crushing needs, and then also some casting machines. Let's first head on out on this pathway. This pathway leads out to the point where we have this telosite, and then we're going to be setting it up out here. We have now reached the location, and if I ping it, look at that massive thing. It's pretty big, pretty damn big, and you can't mine the whole thing. You can actually not mine any of it. What you need to do is you hook up to these points. There's one at 98. There's another one at 98. There's another one at 98. Then there are two at 58, level 58. And then there are some at level 15. The ones at level 15 we can't reach because they're too far down. The ones at 15. Yeah, so we can get all the stuff that is higher up, and then we need to use these underground miners as sort of hooking into these hook points. You can see one of the hook points there. So what we need to do is we need to start not exploding our way in, okay, but we need to just get a little space here so we can make an elevator. That always happens to me. So let's build the elevator to go down, and that is here. First we're gonna get our own elevator, and that will be, I want the check mark on that side, or the input here, so we get you in there. Great. And then I need some freight elevators. Where are you? You're hiding there. And we'll take the top one, and I think I'll build it, I don't know, something like this. We'll have two of these. These ones are freight level 2, so they can consume, or they can transport 640. So we had a location and confirm. So now we are constructing our way down, and once we're constructing, we can then figure out how to set up everything down there. And it is almost complete, and there we go, it is now complete. And I will now hitch a ride down to my new location, and we're just gonna drive down. You can see the different layers here, the clay at the top, and then it transitions into rock, and then it's rock most of the time here. Alright, so first we're just gonna ping and see if we're at the right location. It is very nice. There, just blow it up. Go in. Remember, we can fly. Ah, there we go. There's something, right? Now we see what this actually is. So what we're seeing here is, let's see. So this area here is the vein, and this is the point that we can hook it up to. I can't hook it up anywhere else, and I can't explode the rest of this mine. So if we scan like this, you can see that this is the location, this vein. I can't touch it, but I can actually hook it up on this location. So if we go to something like this, oops, nope, that's too high. Like this maybe, and then we can then try our special miner. That has to be hitting directly in here, and I think that's the right place. So there we go. There. It's big, and it will need to get powered. Okay, so I'm gonna need a transformer. Actually, don't need a transformer for this one particularly. I can probably just do it directly, can I? Yes, I can. All right. And what happens now? So this one is telosite ore vein mining speed 160 per minute. That is ridiculously low. And then later on, core mining. Once all mineable ore has been mined, the ore vein miner may continue to mine endlessly at the ore vein core as long as fracking tower is pumping fracking liquid into the vein. Interesting. So that's something much later on. But at this point, we can continue to mine this, and we see that we get some of this telosite ore now. But 160, that's not much. And if we then scan again, we can see that there are another one there, but that's on the back side, and this is over on that side. And down here we have some more there and there and there. So this is the part where it becomes evident why it is not functional to stream this on Twitch, because then now I need to spend like a good 4 hours on cutting out a cave. So let's make the dwarfs of MORIA envious of the size of our buildings, and just wish away, and then see what it looks like when we're done. We are now hitching a ride down to our new mines that will, well, make the dwarf kingdoms of MORIA envious of our builds here. So we're coming back to the place where we left off, and yeah, it's pretty freaking big. I have dug out here and dug out that one, and down here I built a nice floor, and we have the elevators. Look, going up, looks amazing, doesn't it? Here's another one. Over on this side we have another one as well. There's actually two next to each other. You can put two here, and over on the back side as well here there is another one. Right, there's actually two. So when there's two here, that means 160. So what I basically have is, if I scan here, then at this level I have 4 locations, 1, 2, 3, 3 and 4, and down here I only have 3 locations. None of those are double, so that means I can get 1 full belt. Let's see, and we're going to be of course using the new belts that we have so diligently made. I want it to be at this location, and here, and then it goes out all the way, oops, all the way out along the edge, and it just consolidates. Actually, that's not the greatest place to build it, because now it's going to be messed up when it comes back. And oh, that's actually kind of annoying. But anyway, I kind of wanted it to be at this location. And then we just have to find a way to make it go back into a box. Because we're gonna get, here's a one elevator and the other elevator is like there. And they will now go all the way up. So I'm gonna be making a little bit of extra platform here. And I will then have a box of goodies. Let's see what kind of box we have available. We have one of those boxes. Why do we only have one of those boxes? That's sad. Well, actually I don't need it. I just want it to be as consolidating. That one, right? So we go in. Actually, I only need one belt because it's one belt is fast enough. It's ironic that one belt is not fast enough now. There, because these belts are 600. How fast are they? There we go. They are speed 640, so they're double speed again. So it's not like 1.5 like in Factorio or anything else, but it's just double speed. There, and since these don't care about elevation and stuff, so that I can actually just make them out here, make them floating belts. Actually, that's nice. I think I like that. There we go. That's one belt inbound, and I'm gonna get another one inbound here. I think that's gonna be like this. There we go. And that will go all the way over and hook up to this location. Good. So what we're now getting is from here, there's one location. This is 160 plus 160 plus 320. That gets all the way in here. And they are now ready. They're getting filled up, and then they're going to be pushed up once there's something going up. Now we're going to do the same thing down here. I already have a location. I don't need to have this as double. We just discovered that there, and that will also be coming in as well. Unfortunately, this one will not be able to get a full belt, but hey, can't win them all. And here we are now. This is hooked up, and now I kind of feel a little bit stupid about this. Oh wow, look at that mistake here. There we go. And now it is pushing upwards. What I feel a little bit stupid about is the awful amount of time I spent on this. But you know, if you know anything about me, then sometimes I get carried away, and I just really like the idea of just being able to see this mine and just make a really cool one. But honestly, is it necessary? No, not really necessary, to be perfectly honest, because we're not gonna be roaming around down here. But now it's something we know it's nice. And can I see myself doing this for all the other locations? Probably not, but on the other hand, it's pretty cool anyway. Now we're coming up back up here. I have of course made the little platform ready to go here. And what I want to do is now we get from one we get 640, and the other one we don't quite get 640, but let's pretend that we get 640 for each of them, and then make it into a box to start with, like so. And here and there, and these are outbound and outbound. So now we get it in here with 2 times 640. And then it's time for us to do some design work. Let's figure out the actual process of what happens from the telosite to a CPU. This I have a little bit of tough time finding my way through this, so I think it's easier to do it from here. And let's see. Let's find the location, and that is actually here, the CPU. So we get the telosite ore, and that the rubble becomes ore. That's 4-to-1. That's in a crusher. So the first thing we need to do is crush. Let's get a crusher here. All right. I'm gonna make it sort of parallel 2 lines. So I'm gonna make it exclusively on that side, and then the other one exclusively on this side. So we are gonna be making a crusher for telosite or telosite rubble. That's the one. This one consumes 320. That's half the belt, and outputs 80. Okay. I am going to actually move you one back, because that allows me to get this one as the one moves further. So again, we'll be outbound outbound, and inbound, and inbound. So that takes the 640 and outputs 60 telosite ore. All right, onwards. Next, telosite ore needs to become ingots. That is a 1-to-1 in a advanced smelter. So find one of those advanced smelters that we just built. Let's make it here, and then see how fast we do. Oh no, this doesn't work. This is the part that bothers me a little bit. Like, you can't see the smelter, so you kind of you have to do it. You have to actually get the smelter going there, and then get it inbound so that it will actually pick it up and tell us what recipe it's doing. So this one is 60, and I need to consume 160. So that's going to be 3 of these, and it produces 1/4. So 160 comes in, and outbound will then be 40. Good. All right, and then that goes out on the second belt here. Out, out, and out, and moving on to the next process. Now we have these ingots. Let's see. So that is now ingots done. The ingots can then be made into liquids in an arc furnace. Okay, so let's get an arc furnace. They are big and take a lot of power. I think I need to turn it around the other side if I'm called correctly. And then I kind of have this idea. Oh, one off. These big buildings are a little bit cumbersome to place. We just need to zoom out a little bit. I think it has to be placed in the way that this is out, away from us. Let's see. This one can now make liquid telosite. There we go. This one consumes 40, which is exactly what we're outputting, and then it gets 2,000 outbound. And then we just need to figure out which one is the inbound. This is not an inbound, so the other one must be an inbound. So I'm just going to get a single. Grab that, because these loaders, they can take any and all capacity we have, so that's gonna be nice. And then it comes out as a liquid. That should be coming out here. Yes, coming out as a liquid. And let's have a look at what that does. The liquid goes into the wafer in a casting machine. Okay, and we get 2,000 per minute. That's a casting machine. Let's make it like this. There's just barely room for me to go in here. And that will be a wafer. How much wafering are you doing? You're taking 1,000. Cool. So 1,000, that means I need 2 of those. And I just need to figure out, is that the inbound? No, it's not. Then I'm going to do here. Take you out. And I've been told that it's not nice to make these panels right next to it so you can't look at the panels. So I'm going to try to avoid that sometimes, unless I really want to. And then all it takes is the hooking up of pipes here and that one and a corner. Hey, we're getting better at this. So now it goes in, and then it just goes out again on a box or on a. Here, these will be wafers. Not a lot of wafers though, but it's what we have. And if I'm just being a little bit cheeky about this, then this should be the outbound. Nope, it should not. Let's see. It has to be one further out. That one. And here. Why this location? Well, because then it's gonna match exactly when I built 2 of them. And you're gonna be grabbing inbound. There we go. So that is one. Let's try and hook it up and see if it works. And if it works, we'll just do another one. Good. So it flows in. Are these working? They are working. They are converting. And you converting? Yes, you're converting. And then it goes into the big one. And what about you? Are you getting something? Yeah, you're gonna need to get a little bit more. Let's also take whatever we have in inventory and push it in here. Okay, this is gonna take a while, but it also takes it takes 40 per minute, and I think it's just maybe just needs to go to 40, so it gets up 1 minute. Can I just force anything else in? Do I have other partial builds? No. And 20. Okay, so it's not even starting at 20, so it needs to go up to 40. Well, let's just assume that it works and build another one next to it, because this is consuming 640 and I'm basically almost getting 2 times 640. So let's just build another one that's exactly alike, just copy it and then make it like the other one. And we're now ready to enable the second build. So now we have 2 parallel lines. Obviously we're now consuming slightly more than this one can handle, but we also have built up a buffer, and maybe at some point we'll build up a buffer on the other side over here. And at that point the buffer will, then when we start consuming it, we can still fill it up faster again. But the amount that we're actually producing is kind of pathetic, because this one is producing 2.5 per minute. So it's only become like 6 or 8 of these per minute. That's not much. And what are we going to do from here? Well, we are going to get it out on a bus, I guess. Yeah. And that one. And then go up. And this one is pre-built. And it's just a long line that goes back into our bus build. Because what is the next thing we want to do? Let's see if we can I, oh, I'm flying still. I'm still flying, nice. So if I want to make CPU, then I need polymer boards and aluminum acid. And aluminum acid comes from our oil build, and the polymer boards is something we have on the bus. So we should go back to the bus and get those things built. And we'll just bring it back. It's not at a random location I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back at exactly the right location. And then from here we'll be making one more line, and that line will be for the CPUs. So here we have our bus build, and then it's just a matter for us to figure out what would it look like, the stuff that we want. I guess we're gonna need some. Where's the CPUs? CPUs are here. CPUs are made in a chemical processor. I don't think I have any of those. Okay, let me get some chemical processors and get some aluminum acid available as well. So we've now built a little bit of extra aluminum acid, whatever. And I built a ton more of these. Let's see. This is gonna be tricky. I'm gonna be building it like this because what we now need to do is we now need to make here. And we now need to make CPUs. So remember, we had 10 per second. That's a lot. 10 per minute. 10 per minute. That's actually a lot compared to this one only needing 5 per minute. So what if we just take 10 of these? Then it'll still only be consuming 5. But then I'll produce 40 CPUs per minute. Let's do that. Let's do that. That's probably fine. So let's make 10 of these. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I misplace it? Probably did. 5. Sure. 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. This doesn't need to be. Let's see, and they copied the recipe as well. Yes. All right. So what do we need to do now? Now we need to see that the wafers that we got from somewhere else, we need to get that in, and we need to get some polymer boards in. And the aluminum acid, we're getting that in, and that means, okay, so up here, we are going to get 1 inbound. We're going to get, like, see how many inputs and outputs. This has 5 inputs, outputs. So this should be good. I can get 1 inbound here. And another inbound here, and then I can get in the middle, I can get the outbound. Yes, excellent. So the next one is, how do we get this inbound? Well, I'm just gonna get it in from here, and let's get downslope over to this side, and then an upslope, and in here. You can see I've upgraded most belts to green belts. So that's helps a lot. So what we get inbound here, that's good. I like it. And then the idea of what I did here is that if I feel so inclined, I could also just double it and make 10 or more on the other side, and then I'll be consuming everything. And that goes in. It's a big build with these chemical processes. Maybe I did some miscalculation. Who knows? Yep, and that goes into, I don't know, this location. And there. Good thing we have lots of belts now. Right, so what is it I want to do? I want to get an inbound and an outbound and an inbound. I kind of want them to be over here. Yes. That makes sense. Alright, so repeat this, and on the other side I will get, let's see, this is that one. So we just need to get here the aluminum acid inbound. So this is now done, and I've made a slight change because I couldn't sneak it through here because it was colliding with some of the on-off ramps, so I just made it out here. We get the wafers in, and we get CPUs back on the bus afterwards. Why is it not working? Well, because I haven't hooked up the aluminite here. So once this one is hooked up, then everything should just be working fine and dandy. We're probably not having enough oil coming in here, but I think that some of the other ones are also idle, so I think it'll be fine-ish. Let's have a look if things are progressing. Yes, you are progressing with water inbound. Okay, so everything fills up here before the next one goes out. And if we look at all this, yep, it's filling up with the aluminite slowly. And this will make 40, and I am producing, I have 10 of those, so that'll be 400, and what I'm producing here is 600. So I'm having a little bit of excess, so I could actually use more. It does take quite a while for this one to fill up to where it needs to start. Why is it not starting? It needs to fill up quite a lot. Huh. It needs like goes up to 80 or something. Alright, we'll wait patiently until it gets started because we want to see it working. But it is kind of slow, this the throughput here. A little bit weird. And 80. There we go. Alright, it got started with the CPU. So it's just a long build. And therefore it just kicks. Okay, but if we look at it, then we can see that things are progressing, and now even the last ones are working. Nice. So this is a nice big build. Let's have a look and see if there are any CPUs that come out. Boop. I'm going to be unselecting that and then waiting a little bit. And the first CPUs are now coming out. We are seeing the belt filling up here, and lo and behold, we have some working, and we are getting 40 per minute. That's I don't know if that's good or bad, but we'll see what that is. Now let's take a step back, zoom out, and figure out why do we actually do this. Well, CPU production leads into assembly line. Assembly line is another new interesting thing that we can definitely dive into next time, and that will be robots. So we need to figure out all of this stuff for the robots. So assembly line, rails, splitter, merger, start. We have no idea what that is. And a warehouse, also weird. And assembly line producer, assembly line painter, and robot heads, robot torso, robot arm, robot legs, and I guess robots eventually. And then we also need to make the hydraulic pistons, which is more. And then here we need robot parts. So that is where we need the thermalite sheets that we can now make, but now we also know why we want to make him. And why do we want to make him? Well, if we look at the next science, we can get robot parts and hydraulic pistons. Those are the two things that we can make here. Steel beams and aluminite and thermalite. And none of these require actually the CPUs, but the third part here is the CPU, so it enables us to make the next science pack. And also the CPU part, all the robot assembly, that is I think that's kind of the late game as it is now on how to get more thermalite, because right now we're trading these drones, these maintenance drones that we made, and oh, that's funny. The maintenance drones are coming in, and those are the ones we're being trading out. And I think that eventually we'd want to make not that, but actually make what is it? It is going to be those robots. So we're going to need to figure out an assembly line. So next time it'll probably be robot parts and unlocking the final science tech, and then from there on afterwards it'll be into the assembly line, figuring out how that works. So lots and lots of cool things still upcoming, and I hope you are interested in following this series all the way to the end until there isn't really any more new stuff in the game. If you are, hit the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, you know the drill. And if you want to support the channel even more, and then consider supporting on Patreon. That is basically how I keep this channel running, is mainly through Patreon. So thank you very much for that. Until next time, take care, and as always, stay effective.